Thinking like a Roman emperor is not about ruling an empire or commanding armies. It is about mastering the mind, developing resilience, and living a life of purpose, virtue, and rationality. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher, emperor, combined Stoic philosophy with leadership and personal discipline, demonstrating that greatness begins with thought. Understanding how he approached life offers lessons in mental clarity, emotional regulation, and strategic thinking that are timeless and applicable to anyone, regardless of circumstance. At the core of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy is the idea that thought shapes experience. The mind interprets events, attaches meaning, and drives behavior. By training the mind to reason clearly, focus on what matters, and maintain perspective, individuals gain control over their lives. Marcus understood that external events are beyond complete control, but the mind is entirely within influence. Thinking like a Roman emperor begins with the recognition that perception is the foundation of action, and mastery of perception leads to mastery of life. One of the first principles of thinking like Marcus Aurelius is distinguishing between what is within control and what is not. This is a central Stoic tenet. Emotions, judgments, decisions, and effort are within control, while other people, circumstances, or outcomes are not. Most suffering arises from attempting to control the uncontrollable. By focusing energy only on internal responses and intentional actions, the mind remains calm and resilient. In practical life, this means accepting setbacks, failures, or criticism as facts beyond control, while directing effort toward rational, constructive responses. Another key principle is rational reflection before action. Marcus Aurelius frequently recorded his thoughts in journals, using writing as a tool for reflection, clarity, and guidance. This practice trains the mind to pause, analyze, and choose responses consciously rather than react impulsively. Daily reflection helps identify destructive patterns, clarify goals, and reinforce values. Thinking like a Roman emperor requires this habit of deliberate self-examination. By regularly questioning thoughts, assumptions, and judgments, the mind becomes sharper, more disciplined, and more resilient under pressure. Acceptance of fate, or amor fati, is another critical aspect. Marcus believed that the universe operates according to natural laws, and that resisting reality leads to unnecessary suffering. Thinking like a Roman emperor means understanding that events occur as they must, and inner peace is found by accepting them without emotional resistance. This does not imply passivity, but rather focuses energy on constructive action within the scope of influence. Challenges, obstacles, and hardships are inevitable, but they do not control the mind unless permission is granted through resistance, complaint, or fear. Mental resilience is cultivated through viewing adversity as opportunity. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that obstacles are teachers, shaping character, wisdom, and endurance. Every challenge offers a chance to practice patience, courage, and rational judgment. Thinking like a Roman emperor involves reframing difficulties as essential exercises for growth rather than burdens. In daily life, this mindset transforms setbacks, criticism, and stress into lessons and opportunities to strengthen the mind and improve decision-making. Discipline and routine were essential to Marcus Aurelius. He understood that greatness is not a result of occasional effort, but consistent, deliberate action aligned with virtue and purpose. Thinking like a Roman emperor involves structuring life around principles, daily habits, and meaningful pursuits. Discipline creates mental clarity, reduces wasted energy, and reinforces resilience. Whether in leadership, work, or personal life, maintaining intentional routines strengthens the mind, supports rational decision-making, and prepares the individual for challenges. Self-control is another cornerstone of the Roman emperor mindset. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about moderating desires, controlling impulses, and cultivating temperance. Thinking like an emperor means understanding that external pleasures, material wealth, or recognition are transient and often unreliable. True power comes from mastery over thoughts, reactions, and judgments. By exercising self-control, the mind becomes less reactive, more deliberate, and aligned with long-term goals rather than short-term gratification. Perspective is a key element in Roman style thinking. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of the vastness of the universe and the small role of individual struggles within it. By maintaining perspective, minor annoyances, failures, and fears are reduced to their proper scale. Thinking like a Roman emperor involves expanding the mental lens to see events objectively, reducing emotional turbulence, and making more rational decisions. Perspective diminishes irrational attachment to outcomes and reinforces serenity. Another lesson from Marcus Aurelius is ethical focus and virtue as the ultimate goal. Roman emperors who adhered to Stoic philosophy placed moral excellence above personal gain or power. Thinking like a Roman emperor is less about control over others and more about internal alignment with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Decisions are filtered through principles rather than convenience or desire. This internal ethical compass provides a source of confidence, stability, and purpose, even in uncertain or challenging circumstances. Marcus also practiced the principle of preparing the mind for adversity daily. He anticipated challenges, potential frustrations, and difficult encounters each day. This premeditation is a form of mental training that reduces shock and emotional reaction when difficulties arise. Thinking like a Roman emperor involves anticipating difficulties and rehearsing rational responses in advance. This mental preparation builds resilience, strengthens composure, and ensures deliberate action in moments of stress or conflict. Self-reflection is closely tied to humility. Marcus Aurelius consistently reminded himself of human imperfection and the limits of knowledge. Thinking like a Roman emperor requires acknowledging personal flaws, learning from mistakes, and seeking continuous improvement. Overconfidence, arrogance, or denial weaken judgment and resilience. By cultivating humility and self-awareness, the mind remains grounded, rational, and capable of responding effectively to challenges. Time and mortality were central to Marcus Aurelius' philosophy. He emphasized the brevity of life and the inevitability of death, encouraging focus on meaningful action rather than trivial concerns. Thinking like a Roman emperor means prioritizing what truly matters, avoiding distractions, and using time intentionally. Awareness of mortality enhances gratitude, perspective, and discipline, motivating purposeful action rather than passive existence. Each decision becomes an opportunity to align with virtue and achieve lasting impact. Stoic detachment is another essential concept. Marcus Aurelius practiced detachment not as indifference, but as rational evaluation. Emotions are observed and evaluated, not blindly followed. Thinking like a Roman emperor involves separating perception from judgment, understanding the difference between events and interpretation, and acting based on reason. Emotional stability and rational judgment reduce the influence of fear, anger, and impulsive desire, enhancing clarity and decision-making. Social interaction is also approached strategically. Marcus Aurelius emphasized fairness, patience, and understanding in dealing with others. Thinking like a Roman emperor involves responding to conflict with reason, avoiding unnecessary hostility, and maintaining composure. The goal is not manipulation, but constructive influence. Understanding human behavior, anticipating reactions, and applying rational judgment in interactions strengthens relationships and preserves mental stability. Another critical aspect is continuous learning and reflection. Marcus Aurelius believed in the pursuit of wisdom and understanding through study, observation, and contemplation. Thinking like a Roman emperor requires humility, curiosity, and dedication to self-improvement. Life is treated as an opportunity to cultivate virtue, expand knowledge, and refine judgment. Continuous learning reinforces mental flexibility, resilience, and ethical alignment. In practical terms, thinking like a Roman emperor involves a combination of mental discipline, ethical focus, reflection, and strategic preparation. Daily journaling, meditation, premeditation of challenges, self-assessment, and deliberate action cultivate clarity, rationality, and resilience. Challenges are viewed as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and external events as neutral phenomena outside complete control. Mental toughness, emotional stability, and purposeful action are the natural outcomes of this approach. The mindset of a Roman emperor transforms challenges into opportunities, adversity into growth, and life into a deliberate practice of virtue and reason. Thinking like Marcus Aurelius is accessible to anyone willing to study, reflect, and apply his principles daily. It is a guide to personal mastery, inner strength, and a life aligned with wisdom, discipline, and purpose. The question is whether one will rise to the challenge of thinking like a Roman emperor and master the mind in a world of uncertainty, distraction, and constant pressure.